All right, so welcome to an ARC math video, because what is better than ARC and math? So here we're going to test a few things about Allosauruses against saddled and therefore armored or unsaddled opponents. Now I've got a couple of tests lined up here with a meat boosted and pack boosted Allosaurus. And on the other side, I've got the same thing with a couple of R-Allosauruses, because I want to test the R features. Are they actually working on the server? This is extinction. And I've got these Tech Rexes here, each with 50 health, no levels in them. A couple extras over there in case we need. And a couple over here, 50 points in health, but no extra levels added. So the Allosauruses I tamed up just today, just for a test, and we got 31 melee or 321% on the regular, and on the R-Allosaurus we got 28, and I put 2 points in that to get to 318, so it's a pretty good comparison. And by the numbers, if I'm doing the math correctly, we start with 14,000 hit points. And based on all these modifiers and stuff with the pack bonus and the pack leader and no imprint for the Allosauruses, all of that, a left click should hit 298 for the regular against a no armored Rex, and 133 against a 124 armor saddle Rex. That's for the left click. We expect the right click. So the left click does a base damage of 35. The right click does a base damage of 25, and then also applies the gnash, the bleeding effect, which does 5% of the max health over 10 seconds. So I'm going to test that and see, theoretically, according to the ARC wiki, which we all know is not necessarily reliable, that the bleed should ignore armor, but we're not so sure about that. Okay, so that's the test in a nutshell. I may also test to make sure this is 10% of the, or 5% of the max health rather than the current health. So I might do that test a couple times. Hopefully, by unclaiming these Rexes, we shouldn't have too much of an issue. And we can do the test. So that's what I'm going to try. So this one has no saddle, so 0 armor. Everything should be on passive. Got the pack boost, mate boost, and I'm going to left click once. So 224. I should have provided myself a place to write this. So 224 damage, that is less than I expected it to be. And what I'm going to do now is heal it up. Go ahead and claim it, I suppose. Heal it up back to full, and do the right click. Of course, it would help if I unclaimed it. Okay, that did 160, and it is applying the bleed, but I don't see damage numbers. So let's write down the 160. We're not sure. Let's do actual down here. You know what? Let's make a little room. Okay, so actual damage, it looks like it's now down 13.7. I'm going to go ahead and claim it and check that health. It's down to 13664. So this will be actual 13664. We'll come back and calculate that in a moment. All right, so that's the test on there. And just briefly, 13664, it looks like that was about the right amount taken. So that should have been about 700 something damage taken. Add on top of that the 160, and I think that lines up pretty well. So that looks like a correct 5% health taken. So now this guy has a 124 saddle. So we're gonna unclaim him. Just double check that the left click should do, last time we guessed 298, but it did 224. This time we guessed 133. Excuse me, that was in the wrong spot. So it should be less than 224. I'm guessing it's less than 133 as well. So 37. I probably did that armor calculation incorrect, so I'll have to double check that later. All right, let's go ahead and heal that up, just to make everything nice and easy. Full health. All right, so now with the right click, so the gnash does 26 damage, and it looks like it's actually doing a lot of damage. So we'll go ahead and write 26 here and see what's remaining here now that it's done. It's down to 13,772. That, to me, looks like armor has no effect on the bleed, which is really cool. Very good to know. Okay. Now, just for the sake of comparison, we will take a look at the R-Allosaurus. Not that we're even using this anyway. So let's go over to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. Again, this guy has 318% damage, so slightly less, but very close. Now, the R creatures are supposed to get a 5% damage buff. So the question in part is that 5% damage buff, does that have to do with when you click the melee damage? Does that increase more here, or is it the actual damage delivered? Does it even show on this percent? I think it probably does not show there. So I'm going to go ahead, like I did on the other side, equip this Rex saddle. It's capped on our server. That's 124, and I'm going to use this guy left and right click against these guys. Same amount of health. Everything's the same. And I want to see if in particular, I want to see if the R-Allosaurus does 5% more damage when it comes to the bleed, or if it's just a left click. Okay, so here's left click. 233. And so let me go ahead and copy this over here for the actual data for the R-Allosaurus, 233 there. So that looks like 5% more damage. Have to do the math, but I think that's 5% more damage compared to the regular one. Got a full health, and we're going to do the bleed now. Right click, 166. And here, we have 13,634 remaining. So 13,664, is that what I said? I think it was 644. Yeah, because he's already healing up. Okay, so I think it did just a tiny bit more damage. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to try that again, and then I'm going to gnash it a few times in a row to see if we can see any differences from from doing it multiple times to test to see if it's percent of max health or percent of current health. Okay, so I'm going to unclaim this guy. He's fully healed. I'm going to do that again, and this time I'm going to be a little more careful to take that number a little bit quicker. So as soon as that gnash buff is off, I'm going to claim and check. All right, 13,855. Oh wait, no, it went down. 13,632. Okay. All right, so let me just say that there's a chance that I didn't catch this one soon enough, so we'll go try that in a minute. Or let's go try it right now, actually. Just to be thorough here. Need to heal him. Still have the attack bonus. Should be nate boosted, all that. Okay, still 160 there, and I'm just going to claim and check immediately to make sure it wasn't healing last time. Okay, 634. 13,634. Looks like that was the case. I did not grab it in time. Okay, so that settles that. The arc reachers, they're doing more base damage, but not doing more bleed damage. Good to know. And so we'd expect the same thing against the saddle. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to heal this guy up. Then I'm going to do 10 gnashes. That's going to take 100 seconds, because I'm going to apply it after each time. And then we're going to check the health. So 10 times 5% should be 50%. So it should be just about 50% of the health gone. A little bit more because the extra bite damage, a little bit less because some healing along the way. All right, so here's one. Here's two. I'm going to go ahead and make some space for this. Here's 3. If I'm not careful, he's going to go off the edge. Here's 4. Oh, I lost make this there, I think. Here's 5. Here's 6. And 7. It might have been pack boost that I lost, even though I was still registered as the pack leader. And 7, unless I miscounted, distracted myself. 8, which that's probably 9, because we're about half. And 10. And there we go. So just to prove to ourselves that it works just as well against a saddled opponent, we're only doing 27 damage here, but if I do this a couple times, you'll see that really it's adding up quick. Now, one caveat is perhaps if this is written by a player, perhaps that's especially an imprinted rider, this may be a serious issue where you won't do as much damage. If you have a mate boosted enemy, maybe that decreases it. I'm inclined to think that the damage effectiveness, if we go back and look at our calculator, that the way armor is calculated, which again, I may have done something a little bit wrong here with my calculations. Perhaps multiplying the base percentage. But anyway, if we take a look at the damage taken is equal to the damage times the damage modifier, the armor affects the damage modifier in this way. Perhaps I forgot to put in the right armor coefficient. Maybe that's what it was, because I didn't include one. That might explain part of it. Anyhow, I think that the mate boost and imprint bonus multiply across here just like this armor damage modifier, and so the bleed may ignore all of that. That'll have to wait for a future test. Okay, so that's it. That's all I have for today.